You know, you really say, where do these people come from? Bye-bye. Out, out, out. Be nice. Out. Get them out of here. Get them out. Go home to mommy. Bye.
Let's carry on, ladies and gentlemen, from the sports world into the political world. The return to office for federal workers and federal layoffs, how Trump's policies are affecting the DC housing market. Oh, no. So one of the greatest indicators of how your state is doing, whether people want to live in the areas that you are leading, right? If you're the state of California, if you're Florida, is the U-Haul metric. And we often talk about this. The U-Haul metric shows who left where and who moved where. And you won't be surprised to learn that, of course, California, for like the 10th year straight, is the #1 outgoing U-Haul state. And every state in the top 10 were all blue states. Every one of them. ALX's Massachusetts was on there. New York was on there. A bunch of East Coast states up the eastern seaboard. And then up the West Coast, left coast. Everybody fleeing. Where are they going? Florida, Tennessee, Georgia, Texas. This won't be a surprise to you at all. Arkansas was way up high on the list. Sarah Sanders doing incredible work in Arkansas. So you can see how people vote. Vote with your feet, right, as they often say. You can move to these places, and you can show people exactly how the Constitution works, because the more people move to Florida, the more electoral votes we get, the more out of reach it becomes for Democrats to win on a national playing field. From return to office to federal layoffs, how Trump policies are affecting the D.C. housing market. Let's go ahead and look here. Housing markets in Washington, D.C. and other areas of high concentration of government workers have already been impacted by the Trump administration's new policies, according to Redfin agents. Return to office mandates for federal workers have led to an increase in home buyers, but uncertainty about federal jobs have discouraged others from buying or selling their homes, according to a report. President Donald Trump announced in January 29th that federal workers would be fired if they did not return to work in person. Home prices in the nation's capital have fallen nearly 10%. And the number of homes that are $1 million plus homes have skyrocketed. We've often talked about this, how the counties in and around Washington, D.C. are the single highest price homes in all of America. It makes no sense because Washington, D.C. doesn't create anything. They have no natural resources. There are no diamond mines there. The only actual gold mine is the U.S. printing press for the United States Treasury. And with that, what they have done is they have printed and fire-hosed lavish lifestyles and untold billions into their own bank accounts. That is why the counties all around Washington, D.C. are the richest in America. This is pretty remarkable. The homes for sale. You can look here at these $1 million homes for sale. Do we have the map? Give me that map, please. I want a map of all of the unbelievable Zillow homes. There's like a total and complete bloodbath across all of Washington, D.C. It is particularly juicy for me because I used to live there. And you would have, I mean, we lived in the ghetto when we lived there. It was an incredibly unsafe neighborhood. We were still we bought our first house for $500,000, which would be one of the most expensive houses where I come from in Iowa. And we were buying in the hood, right? Look at this. Look at this. Insane. Look at this. $30 million. What a joke. And it's in a swamp, right? These aren't nice areas. This is not like, there's no mountains. There's no ocean. Again, there's no diamond mines or steel or coal or any industry. It's a literal swamp. The only industry is fraud. All right. So the what went viral is this from this weekend. Zillow map today, 7,000 single-family homes just went for sale in Washington, D.C. and Arlington. These are the homes that are peppering the landscape. Obviously, this is in good times, this is a tough market to buy in because a lot of people want to be close to here, even if it's their third or fourth home. Here's the history. Look at that drop. Just absolutely crashing as feds freak out, scream, and run. Some of the feds that are screaming and running, the Arlington homes for sale, coming soon, freak out maps, ladies and gentlemen. Some of the people who are leaving are now shrieking to 60 Minutes about how unfair their lives are. I want to begin by saying that I often don't ever celebrate people losing their jobs. I've been fired before, fired very publicly. It's terrible, and it's obviously a moment for darkness to creep in, especially if you're a man, and it can really affect your life. So I do my very best not to, like, it's bad juju, not to, like, parade around, right, and, like, stomp on somebody's dreams, unless there's one caveat there. Unless you are existing entirely off of fraud and charity from the American taxpayers, and you have a zero value job. If you're creating zero value to the American economy, like, I will cry, I will weep, and I will comfort the guy at 7-Eleven that scans stuff, right, at midnight, scans packs of Zyn at midnight, right, for truckers. That individual provides so much more value to our American economy. That 16-year-old zit-faced kid, right, from Branson, Missouri, who's working the truck stop, that individual, you provide way more value than anybody who ever worked at USAID, who provides negative value to the country. The country is trillions in debt. The country won't be able to pay its debt. The country can barely service the interest on the debt. The people who are responsible for that create zero value. And one of them's name is Christina Dry. Christina Dry was pranced about on 60 Minutes in the newest PSYOP to complain about how sad she is that she just got fired by Elon Musk. Let's begin by playing you the clip that aired on 60 Minutes of female Shrek talking about how sad she is because her zero value job got cut go.
People are really scared. I think that, 12 days ago, people knew where their next paycheck was coming from. They knew how they were going to pay for their kids' daycare, their medical bills, and then all gone overnight.
All gone overnight for Christina Dry and Adam Dubard, fired this month in the chaotic shutdown of foreign aid distributed by the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID. More than 8,000 USAID employees were sent home by the administration.
And they had to leave the building. And these are folks who had decades and decades of public service serving USAID across administrations, from, George Bush to Obama to the first Trump administration. And they were never able to walk back in the building again.
There was no process? No one explained to them why they were being relieved?
To my knowledge, they received an email, and then if they didn't leave the building, they were escorted out of the building.
So I want to begin with something here before we get into Christina Dry and who this individual is and why she is specifically being trotted out. They just cast her as a innocent public servant who was there to build schools in Nigeria. They don't tell you the real story of who this person is. But let's step back for a second. They're asking you, these doughy slobs who have been suckling, who are extras in White Chicks, have been suckling off the federal teat and been defrauding the taxpayers, existing in zero value jobs, providing nothing for the American people at all. Amazing how they don't ever actually indicate, like, did you ever do anything good? Like, the question was never asked, like, did you do anything for this country? Have you ever created anything of value for this nation? You know who did? People that provided clean, affordable energy, which has been a disaster for this country. Don't need to get too far into it, but if you don't like the cost of things, look at the price of oil. Everything, the cameras we use for the show, this laptop, this phone, the lunch that we eat, everything in your house was brought to you thanks to petroleum, thanks to fossil fuels. If the rate of cost for those fossil fuels triples, what do you think will happen to all of the goods and services you use? Where does inflation come from? Inflation comes from the raw materials to get you the products that you want to live with, for, by, from. All of it comes from fossil fuels. Joe Biden triples the price of gas. Do you remember during the height of COVID, gas being below $1? Like, I remember seeing like 99 cents. The average price of gas, ladies and gentlemen, for the Trump era was below $2. So in many places, the cost of gas has tripled. Around here, it's still $3.50. People in New Jersey, it's like $6. What's the price of gas where you live? It's obscene. That's your inflation. The point is, nobody cried when Joe Biden canceled the Keystone XL pipeline, killing the jobs of thousands and thousands and thousands of American workers. Nobody worried about them. Nobody sobbed, where are they going to get their child care? None of it's real. They expect you to cry for replaceable, zero value, fed, generic fed, doughy fed 34621. They expect you to cry for that person? No. I am bothered so much more by the truck stop attendant in Branson, Missouri, losing his job selling Zyn at midnight. They actually created real jobs. But then if you peel the onion layer back just a little bit onto who Christina Dry is, you'll notice that Christina Dry is actually a total psyop. I'm a career civil servant. I'm just sitting here getting hoping to build schools in Nigeria. Nope. She's the propagandist for USAID, the chief propagandist. Longtime speechwriter for the Biden administration, USAID Administrator Samantha Powers. Mike Benz has been on our program time and time again talking about the evils of Samantha Powers. Just a quick cursory scrub through her social media shows you that not only was Christina Dry's job to propagandize the world about all the great good that the billions of dollars that are being stolen from USAID are doing. Here's some of the good it's doing. Here's right there. Klein, put that up. Here's where USAID money was actually going. Right here. There you go. There's your school in Nigeria. All right? Another home for Bill Kristol. Another home for an Obama appointee. Another home for Henry McMaster or Mark Milley. Here you go. Another $30 million home in some godforsaken cul-de-sac around Washington, D.C. This is who 60 Minutes decides to put up as the face of the torture that's happening right now to federal workers. Look at some of her posts on social media. Just a few posts from Christina Dry, the former longtime speechwriter for the Biden administration's USAID Administrator Samantha Powers. 60 Minutes uncritically quoted Christina Dry in their segment this evening as just a servant of the people. No, she's a psychotic radical who has pronouns in her bio and who's a bloodthirsty advocate for race-based hiring, for racist hiring. No big deal. This Christina Dry is the former longtime speechwriter for the Biden administration, USAID Samantha Powers, who quoted uncritically by 60 Minutes tonight, writing thousands of words in favor of critical race theory. Christina Dry, longtime former speechwriter for the Biden administration, USAID Samantha Powers, who was quoted uncritically by 60 Minutes, made a Black Lives Matter reading list for all of her allies. This is the Jerry Dunleavy thread, please, Klein. Got it. The authors include Malcolm X, Howard Zinn, and Ta-Nehisi Coates, radical Marxists. She also wrote in 2016 how she voted for Bernie Sanders and then how excited she was to vote for Hillary Clinton. Got it. Christina Dry, longtime former speechwriter for the Biden USAID Administrator Samantha Powers, was quoted uncritically by 60 Minutes, wrote in 2018, "The police won't shoot my white skin, but we all know that statistically they would shoot Latino or black skin." And she also compared Trump administration and Elon Musk to Hitler and the Nazis. Par for the course. So this is the new psyop just dropped. Feel sorry for this Fed. It's kind of amazing that this is the person that they could find. This is the most sympathetic character that you could find, the literal mouthpiece propagandist getting trotted out there. Elon Musk responding to 60 Minutes. Here saying, 60 Minutes are liars. Community note states, all employees were offered 8 months' pay and benefits. And one final little note here. Elon Musk up with a fascinating little detail that most of America are vampires. Did you know this? Did you know that millions of time-traveling vampires are getting Social Security? Look at this. These are the ages of people who are currently receiving Social Security. According to the Social Security database, there are numbers of people in each age bucket within the death field that are receiving Social Security. Maybe Twilight is real and there's a lot of vampires. I've met a 100-year-old person before. I've never met anybody who's 119. Yeah, and then it goes all the way up to 369. There's somebody who's 369 years old. That's, of course, hundreds of years older than our country. Would definitely love to book them on the show. I'm sure they have plenty of stories. There are thousands of people receiving Social Security who are the same age as our country, who are old enough to have fought in the Revolutionary War. Please book them for Veterans Day. Would love to talk to a Revolutionary War vet. The fraud. All of this money is going to criminal aliens. All of this money is being funneled, going directly so that the people who work at USAID can buy their $30 million mansions in Bethesda and their cul-de-sacs. Here you go. This is actually where your Social Security money is going. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is a total fraud on the American people. The work that Elon Musk is doing is the single most important work in all of America, exposing a much bigger problem for the nation. And there are big problems that are currently ongoing right now.